The following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
Pale mambo yanapoonekana hayaendi, ni ajabu sana namna moyo unahangaika, ni ajabu sana moyo unaonyesha mashaka.
Well, good evening. Welcome to Beyond the Limit. My name is Linda Alela, and tonight my guest is Charity Chigulu. In just a short bit, you'll get to understand why Charity and why we have her here. But certainly, as always, a story of hope. Quote and quote. I told myself, Charity, you are not a cabbage. Of course, we're not saying that a cabbage is not useful, minus the quote. And back to the quote, you cannot be. My brain and my hands are not blind. I also had my voice, which I consider my weapon. Charity, ujambo.
Yeah.
You know, Charity speaks really good Swahili, and she has this powerful voice. For a moment, I thought I had the best voice, only to beat her. And I am tempted to interview her in Swahili, but all in all, we have to stick to what it is that we're supposed to do, and that is a bit of English. Asante kwa kuzungumza nasi.
Nashukuru Linda kwa kunialika.
All right, so here we are. Welcome to Beyond the Limit. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you. And I'm sure most of the people who are watching us are asking us, themselves, just why Charity? Who is Charity? And why we're having this conversation tonight. If you could please introduce yourself.
My name is Charity Chigulu. I'm a journalist, visually impaired. Yeah, I don't have apologies to make because I did not invite it. It just came. So I'm a journalist, born in Kilifi, raised in Kilifi, schooled in Kilifi, and part of Mombasa County. Yeah.
Is this one a Costarian or is just born?
Costarian.
You're a Costarian?
Yes.
All right. No wonder unazungumza Kiswahili kizuri hivyo, eh? Lakini tuna break hapa kidogo, but all in all, a fellow scribe is here, and like she says, of course, experiencing some bit of challenges in relation to, not being able to see. And Charity, born and bred in Kilifi and all that, born blind?
No. I wasn't born blind. I acquired the blindness in 2017, December to be particular. To be specific, yeah.
All right, all grown up. Tayari ulikuwa mtu mzima kabisa.
I was 30.
You were 30.
I was already married.
Okay.
Actually 2 years, 3 years in marriage.
All right.
Yes.
Wow. We'll get to this. But then again, before that, umesema kwamba wewe mtangazaji.
Yeah.
We'll get in your elements. Tutangaze kitu kimoja, labda tunatangaza maandamano au?
Jamani. Ujambo mtazamaji ama msikilizaji, na karibu. Hizi ndio habari zetu kwa sasa. Na katika vidokezo ni kwamba Naibu Rais Rigathi Gachagua ameshinikiza kubanduliwa mamlakani kwa mkurugenzi mkuu wa kitengo cha ujasusi nchini Nordin Haji kwa utepetevu. Jamani.
Kimemgonga Nordin, hata tusizungumzie hilo. Sijui nikupigie makofi. Sometimes when you're told to get into the element, my goodness, it is never an easy thing, and that is talent at its best. Lakini Charity, nakutafuta in different radios, I don't get to hear you. Just what happened? Walk us through your journey, getting into journalism up until where you are.
Okay, I did mass communication, specifically radio option at Technical University of Mombasa. And I was employed by Radio Africa in 2015. Before that, I used to work in Mombasa as a radio newscaster at a specific radio station, a Muslim radio station, for several years. So when I was employed in 2015 as a newscaster for Radio Jambo, to be specific, yeah. So I did for some few years, I think 2 years. Then boom, visual impairment crept in. I used to wear specs by then because I had issues with other, visual issues. So they had said, sijui ni mayo, whatever. I cannot remember specifically, but you know, you just go. Ikipoteza nguvu, you just go and change the specs.
Yes, macho kama kawaida tu, yeah.
You understand?
Right.
So it dawned on me that, you know, my vision is deteriorating because I started having blurred vision.
Right.
You see, I'm reading news, it's live, and then there's a lot of ama, kunradhi, you know, it's because some words I could not see properly.
Okay.
So I have to stay close, I'm on specs,
Right.
but close to the computer, so that then I can see clearly. But you ama, kunradhi msikilizaji, you know, it got me
Worried. Were you the only one who was picking this, or perhaps your colleagues as well noticed that maybe, you know, you really are fumbling a lot?
Actually, my brother is the one who noticed.
Okay.
He was always listening and he's like, hey, Madam Ama, you too much Ama on air, you know. And so he was just making it as a joke.
Right.
But with time I started, that is 2016, 2017, early hapo. I started, when I look at a bulb, I see something like a rainbow.
Okay.
It's so clear. So, but with specs, sometimes, you know, I remove the specs. I move close to the computer. And I'm like, sasa zinanisaidia na nini these things? I mean,
all in all, you're not seeing anything.
yeah, there's no
Specs of-
difference.
yes.
So I shared with my boss, and who is Susan Kimashia, and she recommended that I see an ophthalmologist, as in not an optician now.
Yes.
So I went. I went to an optician. I got some new specs. Then things were good. Then after some time, you know, I've taken a break in 2017 for my leave. That is around December, you know, November, yeah. Then I noticed I cannot move out, you know.
It is like you're not able to see.
Yeah, I can't, it's not that I can't see. What I'm seeing is mist, white throughout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Night or day?
Day, night is just the
More or
same.
less the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just notified my husband, you know, I need to move around. Mombasa, I've gone to Reresha, you know, have fun, you move around, but I can't. So I just shared with him, I told him, you know, before you leave to work,
Yeah.
please take me somewhere, take me wherever I want to go, drop me there, then you go. If I insist on going alone, I have a difficulty. Yeah, because by then it was raining, and when I move around, I insist on moving around alone, even to the shop. Let's get to do.
Unaingia kwa maji, tubuliu. Oh my goodness, that is sad. Because then they're thinking, what is wrong? Eh? Why would you just decide to get into?
Yeah, you know. What's up? Madam, uko sawa? Yeah, I'm okay, you know. So, but before the leave ended, I just went to see an ophthalmologist, another ophthalmologist in Mombasa, Aga Khan to be specific. And they say, madam, you have glaucoma. Glaucoma, you know, a big percentage of your eyes or vision, optical nerves are eaten up, you know, are damaged. I think, if I can remember well, that was 97%.
Damage.
Gone, yes.
That is as good as
Zero.
zero. You know, like this is a clear indication that it's done for you.
Yeah, so I was even wondering how was I even managing.
You know? So you get into reading, okay, not even reading, getting into research, just get to understand what is this, or you ask a lot of questions.
In fact, I told the doctor, no. Glaucoma, what is that? I started questioning, you know, what's that? So he said it's a genetic related, you know, eye condition. It gradually eats up your nerves, damages your nerves. Yeah, but it silently does it. You don't see much signs, you know. Yeah, so I went back home and came back to Nairobi, had to see he referred me to another doctor. Second option, he says, so you have to use eye drops so that you preserve whatever is remaining.
True to it, nothing was preserved.
Yeah. So when I came back, you know, I'm using the eye drops, but because you don't have a white cane, you have no knowledge about anything.
You know, you need to adjust and adapt and all that. So you're back to the office.
Yeah, so I reported to the office for the December shift.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in the shift of 20, yeah, to read news, yeah.
Okay.
So I come in the afternoon. I said, Riti, in the evening, I have to go back home. So ile kitu ndo ile imekuja. I cannot see. So I'm like, okay, let me stroll till Westlands. Then I get a mat to my place. Okay. I did not believe it. I just entered it. I saw people are passing through this path, you know. That is at Westlands. And I know, okay, wherever you path basi, kosawa. So I just moved. As I moved, I didn't know there was a ditch. There was a manhole, you know. The only thing I can remember was, Jesus, I was inside there.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Thank God I can laugh about it now, you know. Yeah.
Didn't get hurt?
No, my rib, one of my rib was just a fracture one. But they said it can heal by itself. You know now, Linda, that is the time it dawned that
this is it.
The voice says, now you're blind. You know, now you're blind. So I got people to help me out there. Then after some time, I had to go and see another doctor. You know, you are in denial.
In denial. You can't, and you're actually thinking that maybe magic will be done and the glaucoma is out. And you're back to seeing. But it's not happening.
I went to another doctor, I think in Lyons. I'm sorry, but it was not so good. You know, some doctors are not you're just told blank, you know, open everything. Your case is desperate, so go and see a glaucoma specialist. Who is now Sheila Marco. She just recommended and I went, and that's when I was told more about it, and that you can only manage with whatever percentage is remaining. It's not the end of you, but now be consistent in using the eye drops.
Wow. You know, at this point, you can now not read news, and perhaps that's the only business that was getting you to Radio Africa. And now you want to figure out just how best to manage. How do you go about it? Do you still read news? No. What do you do? Because, I mean, these are the premises of her workplace, so that means 7 years and counting, she is still here. A beautiful story. That is the reason why we're actually here. So, yes.
So, by then I was seeing some percentage, you know, the 3%.
Yes.
You can see this is an image, this is someone coming, yes, but details about the person you do not know. So I used just to come to the office, I sit down, I cannot read news. I thank God for my boss and the company, because they really understood and accommodated me, you know. I just used to come, I sit. My ex-husband then used to bring me to the office. Yeah. He resigned, and just to take care. Yeah, because now I could not cook. Okay. I could not wash, you know, adjusting. Right. Yeah, I could not cook, I could not wash. Moving around, I didn't have a white cane, so moving around was like, you're so scared.
My goodness.
So he used to take me to the office. I sit down at a desk, and you know, you don't do much. The little that I'm seeing, I just go close to the computer, try to
squint, but
yeah,
it's just
to keep myself busy, you know, because I've been told it's okay, Charity, we understand.
And you trust that you're not going to be fired at this point.
My friend,
the fear. Allow us to take a short break and just come back to that story, because for a moment, I would probably not even tell them that I have all these struggles. But then again, it is so visible. So just how do you make it? How do you manage? How has Charity managed all the way after this break? All right, Charity Chigulu is with me. I'd literally call her my colleague because, well, a fellow scribe, and always a scribe. Here we are just getting to understand how then she maneuvered after that experience of, you know, being visually impaired, you know, and you wake up in the morning, it's a whole different story. Just how do you manage this specifically, you know, at that professional level, now that she's still here doing what she can do best. But unamzunguzia kaka kama mtu mzuri tu, ya kwamba, you know, someone to resign just so they can accommodate you, just so they can play, you know, make sure that you are okay. That's a massive love. But yes, I noticed that you kept saying ex, you know, ilikuwa kuwaje?
Because, you know, it came a time we had to divorce. I had to release him because, you know, at times you don't subscribe for what, or when you say yes, I do, yeah, you say for better or for worse. That term is very strong. You don't just use it. Yeah, because when the worst comes, are you ready to wait? Are you ready to persevere? Are you ready to stand? There's a moment I felt like I'm a burden to him. Yeah, and you know, it was not so easy. I understand him because I came to sit down and I just had a meeting with myself and said, it's okay, you know, if he cannot do it anymore, it's okay. But what I did not understand is that by then I could be able to do.
Oh, like you have grown, you have understood how to go about it, you have, yeah.
So I'm like, what is the problem? You know, and you cannot insist on holding, you know, just don't hold on to it if it's hurting you. Emotionally, psychologically, I was even becoming suicidal, you know, you feel like you're useless and, you know, you're a burden. So I just had to let him go because it was
Perhaps a fair thing to do. All right. So how are you managing yourself?
right now. I have an aide at home. Yeah, I have an aide who helps me to do some chores here and there. But let me tell you, a big percentage of my chores
You do by yourself. You've like literally learned.
Correct.
Walk us through the journey of adjusting, and especially professionally, and you know, you find your way to the office and back home, like you rightfully say, and now just adjusting to know that, you know, this is how you manage your things.
A moment came that my boss was suggesting, after the doctor recommended, there's a time the doctor recommended that I go to Kenya Society for the Blind to get some, you know, teaching, just how to work without seeing, use the computer without seeing, move around, mobility, how to use the white care and counseling, because by then, I'm telling you, I was dying inside. Yeah, because I was like, now this is the time, Charity, you are useless. You cannot do nothing, so you will be sacked. So I told my boss, shh, I'm telling you, the doctor recommended that I go to see the head of Kenya Society for the Blind. But shush, do not tell the HR, do not tell anyone in this company. You know, I think she kept quiet for some few days. And then all of a sudden, yeah, Charity, unaitwa na HR. I said, I'm finished.
Oh my goodness.
Before I went,
Politely,
I just
we
called my
understand
boss.
your situation,
Ah,
but
yeah.
Charity, unfortunately, that's what you thought it's going to be that.
Yeah. No, I just said I'm finished. I called her aside and told her, Susan, come. I told you, don't tell the boss this thing because me,
I still have my
ready.
voice.
Yeah, I'm not ready even to go to. Who said that I'm totally blind? Okay. You see? And she said, I'm so sorry. She had to know because by then I used to walk. You see, you use the wall. When I want to go to the washroom, I use the wall, la papasa.
Right.
So I think she spotted me and she said, what is happening, Susan, you know? So she had to open up. They won't sack you. That is the surety she gave me.
Yeah.
They won't sack you because you did not call for this.
Yeah.
And inside me, then I gained some strength. I said, okay, Charity. That is where I said, I'm not a garbage. I'm not a cabbage. My mind is not blind. My hands are not blind. My legs are not blind. I can do this. But even as I was going there to see the HR, she just told me, what did she recommend? Where is the letter? What is the requirement? So I just told them it's a class. I'm going to learn ABCD, how to use the laptop and the computer without and such. So they paid for everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
The company paid for everything.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And fast forward here, you are. How have you managed to adjust, you know, in terms of, you know, now your career, adapt to this life, accommodate this, and actually be useful to the company?
Very useful to the company, let me tell you.
Oh, you can say that again. You can say that again.
So the technique I learned, you know, it's a technique. You can use the laptop, let me tell you, without using your sight. It's a JAWS app built inbuilt in the laptop.
Technically, what they call the assistive
Device.
sort of device. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, I am doing beyond the limit, so I know these things.
So I make calls to my sources. Mostly I do health stories.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
Beautiful stories. You might need to read her. Sometimes you might need to listen to her stories. Yeah.
yeah. So I script for radio, majorly a script for radio, but once in a while I do features. I have done big reads several times, I think once. So, yeah, but basically health stories. So I thank God for my colleagues at work because they support me. You know, at times now that I cannot edit, I'm not so conversant yet with editing the audios, and so I just hand over to them. They do the editing, and I'm good to go.
But bit by bit, you're trying to learn that as well.
I am really trying.
And you should forgive me, I should have started by saying award-winning journalist, because it is one thing to be a journalist, it is another to be an award-winning journalist. Yes, let's proceed.
At times, you know, you call sources and they tell you, use the information but don't use my voice.
Okay.
So I'm compelled to do the scripting, then I do a voiceover. You just add, reporting for Kiss FM, reporting for Jambo Jalango Charity Chigulu, you know, such. Yeah, that at least I can do that, and I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Just how expensive or affordable has this journey been for you, now that you say, of course, well, the company came in to salvage the situation, but I can imagine it has to get to a point where now it goes back to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I think after they bought the laptop and they paid for everything, the counseling and such, you know, I was given a white cane, and you know the white cane, I have to use it after some time in Aisha, so I have to purchase another one. Buying one white cane is 5,400. Yes, a good one, good quality.
How long would one take you, for instance?
Like the one that I bought once with 5,400. I've not gone back to buying that one because it's expensive. It lasted me like almost a year. But now, because I have friends, I've made friends at school, they can search for the blind. So anytime a donation comes, a donor brings white canes, I say, hey, hello, please, I need one. So at least that helps me to cut the cost. But in terms of moving around, you know, from home to the office at times, thank God, because of late the company allowed me to work from home because of the logistics, moving around. You know, anywhere you go, you need an aid. Honestly, so you pay for your fare and the aid's fare. Yeah, you see that's yes, it is. I can tell you, it is. Yeah. So basically, the assistive devices also. Let me tell you, were it to be left for me to buy or purchase, I would not be able to. So because they're very expensive.
I can imagine.
You know, 150,000 for the laptop plus. Yeah.
You're the voice of the people, and this is basically what we're talking about. This is where the world is headed. This is where we're saying, you know what, being visually impaired, or perhaps having a concern in terms of, you know, just how you're managing yourself, or perhaps having, you know, sort of like what we call persons with disability, you know. What would you say, what would you tell the government in terms of making sure that perhaps life is just manageable for them? Because as you say, I've met very many of them that will always complain of the difficulties they encounter when they seek assistive devices. Those ones in wheelchair will tell you that it's not an easy ride for them.
We are grateful that we have been exempted from paying tax.
Yes.
But let me tell you, I think that's not enough. For you to move around, I might have the knowledge, or I may be a professional, maybe an ICT. We have VIs who are good in terms of IT matters. But you know, without the assistive device, they cannot do anything. So I think maybe if the cost of getting an assistive device can be lowered.
Right.
Yeah, can be lowered. Not completely. You know, we cannot be given for free.
That's true.
I know, but at least it's a price that I can afford. It's a price that I can afford. There are people who cannot move around right now, because how do you move around? You don't have a white cane. I know there are some crazy and very courageous visually impaired people who move around alone without a white cane, but it's very risky. It's a very risky thing. Yeah, it's a very risky. So I think basically, if they can do that in terms of lowering the cost of getting assistive devices, we shall be very grateful. Second thing, it's not only that. In terms of mobility, the pavements, the terrain, it's not friendly at all. At all. Yeah, it just ease our lives when you're constructing the roads, make them user-friendly for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charity, you know, the business that brings us here is that you are a story of hope. You're a beautiful story, I must admit, and therefore there are very many people who would love to see you and listen to you and understand that it is possible. Speak to a person who, was born with visual impairment. Speak to a person who has acquired it. Speak to a family that, has their own now experiencing visual impairment. And, just remind them of how important it is to hold on to the capabilities that you have.
From the family perspective, support is very important. Support. And if you can give 100% support, that would be very important, because there's a season of denial that person needs a lot of support by then. Yeah. A season of denial that should not be forever, So then, in that duration or that period, give hope to that person. Give hope to that. So how do you give hope? Because mtu ajui unaanzia wapi. Where do you begin? It has just come, especially for the acquired. Speak up to this person. One, do not be very, how do I put it? Should you say sympathy?
Don't sympathize.
Yeah, please don't.
We do not want.
And if you have nothing to say, please shut up. Just keep quiet.
Okay.
Just keep quiet, because we have people who say, Mungu anajua. Yes, we know. I'm born again, understand. God knows. God understands. But in that period, someone does not understand such. You feel like you're very useless. For me, there's a moment I became suicidal. I really planned it so well. But because of the people who are close to me, church, family, colleagues at work, that being close, just be there.
Yes.
Just be there. Anything I can do for you, we are told, ask the person. Don't just go ahead. Hey, Joe, kupeleke. Hey, no. Just ask the person, how do I help you?
Okay.
Yeah, and as they speak out and cry, please just give a listening ear. Don't say anything. Yeah, that support for that was just maybe lost or acquired a visual impairment. And I believe you can, for that child who was maybe born like that, you don't hide them, because there's a tendency of parents doing that. That you cannot do much. It's expensive to take a visually impaired child to school, because of the braille, how expensive it is. But please take that child to school. Just try it out. Because there is so much that child can do. One, the brain is still saying. And let me tell you, by the way, Mungu akunyimi kilema akakukosesha mwendo, anasema Swahili. Yeah. So there is that. My touch right now, my sense of touch is very strong.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. My sense of hearing is very strong. So there's a way the other senses are amplified, and that person is able to do so much that you can't imagine. So don't just look at the blindness or the visual impairment. See something else. There is so much that person can do.
Beautiful. If only we had more time. Need I say more? I will not add, neither will I subtract. I will certainly say that, you know what, you have the capability to be a better version of yourself, despite the situation. Chigulu Charity, thank you so much for speaking to us. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Linda, for the opportunity to speak out hope to someone. I'm very grateful.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you again on Beyond the Limit. That is next Saturday. Bye-bye.